Thank you so much for always supporting the Duke's Farm. My name is Dennis Duke Onyala. If you're new here, please ensure that you subscribe. As I promised, this year it's going to be a roller coaster for you, so please tighten those seat belts. I have brought to you an inspiring farmer who is into cattle rearing. We saw his story into goat keeping, but now today we've come to capture cattle keeping. He keeps cows for milk, and these cows have had a share of story in his life. So please, with me, welcome our dear farmer, Semaganda Joseph. How are you, Sevo?
I'm fine, sir.
How is farming in Kabuma within town?
Farming is okay.
It's okay?
Quite fun. A few challenges, but we are pushing.
You're pushing?
Yes.
So briefly explain to us, how do you come up with an idea of, okay, let me go into cattle keeping?
At first, for me, what I did electrical engineering, but from my childhood, I had so much passion for animals.
Okay.
So when I got a chance of getting some good money, then I thought about starting a dairy farm because I love milk. I myself and a few friends of mine also keep dairy cows.
Okay.
So through that, I also started a story like that. Yes.
How many cows did you start with when you were starting? And perhaps, which year are you starting your cattle farm?
Dairy section, I started in 2020, 1 month to COVID-19.
Okay.
Yeah, but in the past 5 years before starting, in 2016, I bought my first local cow because I had so much passion for it. But unfortunately, it would give me just 2 or 1 cup a day after giving birth. So I felt so bad. I thought of getting these ones, but they were quite expensive. So I waited on till in 2020 when I got the money. I saw that one, then I added on and I bought one, which was a cross. After buying that one, then I visited the farm in Gayaza of Mchina. The man is called Mchina there in Gayaza. Most dairy farmers know that man. That's when I saw what I saw there, that a single cow, you can get 20 liters or 15 a day. So I sold off the one I had, then I added on the money, then I started buying one by one, just like that.
How many did you start up with after visiting China?
After visiting, I bought one, then after like a month, I bought another 2, then I came to with a number of 5. Then from there, God blessed me. I kept on buying more and more. But that's the mistake I even regret doing. Okay. Because I reached a number of 27 heads of cattle here on this small piece of land, because it is 35 by 60 here.
Okay.
Then I could have that number here.
So how big was, that you had 35 by what?
This is 35 by 60, and I had 27 dairy cows here.
How were you feeding those goats? Those cows?
That's where the challenges came in. I had so much passion for the animals, forgetting about the feeds. So we could just go here, we go down there in the swampy areas, then we could go to some napier, we buy some silage, just like that. So it became so challenging and expensive feeding those animals in that way.
Okay. So generally, you've been doing cattle raising for the last 2.5 years.
Yes.
What are some of the good things you've so far got from raising cattle?
Raising cattle. First of all, for us low-income earners, if you have a dairy cow at home, your people can't die of hunger.
Okay.
You are assured of a daily income, at least for some good 7 to 8 months. That's the advantage. I mean, even 9 months, actually, because at least you give it 2 months after giving birth, then you keep on. Before inseminating it. So having a dairy cow at home, you are sure of a daily income, however little it may be, but at least you are sure that if you properly feed your animal, the following day, you have your 30K with you, minimum. So that's a very good advantage. Besides that, your children and your people at home, even if you have visitors, at least they have access to high quality milk, which help them to grow well. And again, these animals are giving us dung. As you saw the other farm in Chihuahua. For me, I don't buy inorganic fertilizers. I use my organic fertilizers to fertilize and then also to produce more food for my family. So at least, besides that, again, we are getting more friends because it's not only about money, even the kind of people who you are getting in your life, like a Duke. If I wasn't doing farming, I wouldn't
probably
have
never
known
have
you.
met, yes.
Yeah. So this diary section has helped me so much, even in my area. At least those people who never knew me were not good friends of mine because of the quality of the milk I produce here, which doesn't have what I need. At least I have so many friends. So it has helped me so much on paying school fees for my children, being sure of at least something coming into my pockets on daily basis. So those are the advantages I have found, these ones.
Okay.
And again, I feel like I have a brighter future because I know by the time my children will be at the university, if I have at least 30 heads of cattle, even if you are selling 10 per year, you are sure you have your 60 million. Okay. Yes.
So having had this experience for 2.5 years, please briefly explain to us or explain to a farmer out there that would want to go into, cattle keeping or dairy farming, what steps should they take?
To me, whosoever thinks about coming into livestock farming, what should come into their mind first is a self-assessment test. Because if you don't assess yourself in the beginning and you just come into this will be money bound to be burnt. So first of all, assess yourself. Will you be available at your farm? You are partially there at your own farm. What does it take to have dairy cows? So that's like in a management part, because in any farming, livestock farming, we have 3 pillars of farming. That is genetics, nutrition, and management. Those are the 3 pillars. So anybody who thinks about coming into dairy farming, those 3 pillars should be in your head. Okay. You should think about the genetics, you should think about the nutrition, and the management. Okay. So anybody outside there will come at the farm like this, they find there you have 10 heads of cattle there. And what you come there, I can do that. But you should properly understand what does it take to have 10 heads of cattle. How much does a dairy cow consume per day? For how long? Because in most cases, we saw in calf heifers, those which are pregnant are going to give birth for the first time. So let people first look for adequate knowledge before starting this. Because even if you have passion for this animal, passion without adequate knowledge is money bound to be burnt. So I would advise any farmer outside there, before coming into this, think about the kind of genetics you want to keep at your farm. Think about the shelter. After the shelter, think about the feeds, and then the kind of workers you need at the farm. Because among those 3 pillars, each one helps another. Without one, you fail.
In terms of finances, you never talked about it.
As I said, for me in the beginning, I had my local, I sold that one, I got across, from across, then I added on. After getting one, lucky enough, God blessed me until when I reached a number of 5. So if someone can afford getting one dairy cow and use that one for learning before increasing the number, that will be much better. If someone has enough financial support and he can manage at least 4, it is better. For example, when I reached 5, I wanted to have 10. When I reached 10, I wanted to increase even the number beyond that. In the due process, I faced a challenge that they produced. The space I had was small. I don't have enough nutrition, no enough feeds, no enough financial support. I failed in that way. So coming back to this number which I have now, now I have a clear vision of exactly what I want and how I can manage what I have. So to me, I would advise someone who's going to start with a small number of animals. Because after 3 years, because the target of any dairy farmer is a calf per cow per year. Okay. So if you start with 2, after 2 years, we'll be having 4 calves there. You see? Yes. In case you have inseminated them with sexed semen, your cow will be increasing in number. You see? So the problem is, if you start with a big number, you will fail.
Okay. So what are other challenges besides the one that you faced as a farmer? What other challenges did you face? Of course, you took us through the challenges you faced because you were still a learner, but what challenges eventually came after, even after learning, the ones that you even encounter until now?
The problem of the workers. It is a very serious problem. Even if you have your good genetics, even if you have the feeds, the workers, because most farmers are not fully available at their farms. They're partially there, some are telephone farmers. So even if you have your good genetics and you have good quality feeds, but the management of the workers, because that's another challenge I faced. After learning all those which I learned along the way, I faced a problem of the workers. Most farmers know what we call lava. It's a chemical. That chemical, you can spray it on the dung to avoid those flies which attack these animals. So when those workers had some problems among themselves, they sprayed those ones on my animals, so they killed them. They became blind. I found that I was forced to sell them through meat. Selling a cow of 6 million or 7 million to 1.5 or 2, that's a very big loss. So how to manage workers matters a lot. But still, those are individuals who are here today. Tomorrow they don't want to be, and people of different characters, because we grew from different families. So that's a very big challenge. So anybody outside there who has got a very good worker, please try to hold them properly, because they are the one responsible for your success or your failure in your project. And the main problem which we face, not only me, the problem of the feeds. It is very bad to have feeds of which are enough for 1 month. As I'll be showing you what I have learned out of experience. Feeds, because even if my workers today go, all of them at once, my people here, you can still open that silage and they serve the animals. Yes.
What about diseases?
Diseases, in animal, when you have proper nutrition in your animals and you have good hygiene, as you can see here, the chances of diseases are very minimal. So for me, as a farmer, fellow farmers, it is very good to try the basics of how to treat these animals. For example, if these animals fell sick, before you could even call a vet, I have a thermometer of which I know that the normal temperature is this. Beyond this, it is this diseases. Beyond 40 or 40.5, this is ECF. How do we treat? Because whenever a doctor comes here, I look in the books. To minimize on the expenses, if you look in the books, you even ask questions. So, what is the temperature? It is this. What does it mean? It is ECF. How do you calm it down? How do you treat it like this? Then we have learned those basics. That before even calling those doctors, we do it ourselves, like even helping a cow to deliver. Have to learn those basics, because at times your animal is about to deliver, it's delivering. It has somehow felt it needs some help, and the vet is many miles away.
Is in Marara.
At night we are calling. So that's very bad. So we have learned those ones, and what I do, even my family people, I try as much as I can to teach them. Like that one, that lady there, you see, she knows even how to make a cow. She's the one who sells our milk in the area. So we do those ones ourselves to cut on the expenses.
But what are the diseases that affect these animals?
Like there's foot and mouth diseases, there's lumpy skin, a lot of diseases. But
what causes foot and mouth diseases?
It's a viral disease.
Okay.
Those are viruses. It's usually an outbreak which comes within. So to avoid those ones, you do the vaccinations area. But the problem is the vaccines are very expensive. Unless you have fellow farmers who you can join forces with and you buy those vaccines. Yes, there's anthrax, there's a lot of diseases which affect this. But for me at the farm, I haven't faced any of those ones because our animals are totally on zero grazing. They don't move around. So it's the chances, and we don't have many farmers within the region. So the chances are very minimal.
So in simple terms, you're saying somebody that is doing zero grazing has more advantages than somebody doing
of course. Free range.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Interesting.
So, and it helps us, people, low-income earners, that you can see you have these heads of cattle on this small plot of land. You can see that at least, even someone who has a 50 by 50, you can have a house and 2 direct cows, which can give you 60 per day.
So let's start with, you've talked about that, but what is the ratio of land to cattle? Is it 50 feet by 50? I don't know.
No, it's about the knowledge. Like, we went there, we learned something at a certain farm. Like you see, if you have 9 feet in width and 30, 9 feet by 30, you can have 10 heads of cattle there. Because these direct, all they need, this is a factory. All they need are good nutrition and some cow comfort where they sleep. We did it like this. This is not recommended. I wouldn't advise anybody. But the problem we're in a swampy area whereby even if you put there some rice husks or wooden husks, it won't work properly because we are in a swampy area. You find that it will become wet. So cow comfort is key.
Okay.
So, but if you have like 9 feet by 30, you can keep 10 heads of cattle. Because this animal, all they need is to eat, chew the cud, take the water, and
but that is basically for their resting and eating. Let's talk about even the feeding. If I want to keep those particular 10 cows that you're talking about, how much big land can I have to grow the grass?
To grow on your feeds.
Yes.
I always talk about that. Someone can have 1 acre and gets more than what you can have on 2 acres. So it's all about management. How does someone manages his fodder? How does he do the fertilization? So management and fertilization. Does someone do irrigation? Because it can't be an open question. So for me, what I learned along the way is I can have more fodder from a smaller piece of land, and someone can go for 10 acres and I go for 4 acres, and we harvest more feeds than that someone. So even if you are growing your own feeds, think about the proper management of those feeds, those pastures you have grown. Make sure you do fertilization. If you have a small piece of land and feel like you want to keep more animals, think about irrigation.
Okay. So basically within an acre, I can keep like 10 cows.
If you have grown those perennial crops. Because like, if you can see, if someone has done maize, and I do sugar graze, I will harvest several times. For them, those who are doing maize, they have to harvest in a year. But for sugar graze, I will harvest 6 times in a year. You see the difference? So even if you have 1 acre, what kind of feeds are you growing that 1 acre? Are they annual crops or perennial crops? So that depends.
Okay. Yes. So let's talk about feeding. You've generally talked about it. What do we feed our animals?
When we are feeding these dairy cows, what should come in your mind first is that what we call the dry matter content. Okay. Because if I have Cross Guyana, this cow can consume like 15 kgs. Okay. Because it's dry, the dry matter content in it is a lot. But if I want to feed in Napier here, a single cow can eat 100 kilograms.
Ah, the green, yes, the one that is still fresh.
Yes, you see? So those farmers who are going to feed these ones, they should think about the dry matter content of the feed they're providing their animals. Okay. That's key. Because if someone is feeding hay, which has a lot of dry matter, because we know that hay, like Cross Guyana, we have the alfalfa, we have the bracharia, it has almost 80% dry matter content. And if you are feeding Napier, fresh Napier, all you will be having is like 8% dry matter content. So you find that they will tell you that these animals can eat, but what kind of feeds are you providing your animals? The dry matter one even makes them to consume a lot of water, and you find that you will eat less. You eat like 4 to 5% of their total body weight. You can't say that how many kilograms. This is a small cow. It can't eat like the bigger ones. So we just provide the 4 to 5% of that total body weight. Yes.
Ah. So what grasses should somebody prepare?
All local grasses which are not poisonous. With the choo-choo, the Cross Guyana, the bracharia, all those ones, they can work for these animals. Like even the dry maize, stovers. If you teach them to eat them, still they can give you milk.
Okay. Yes. Do you supplement on your feeding?
It's an obvious case because there is no single feed which has all the nutrients, which can fit all the nutrient requirement of these animals. You must supplement them.
So what do you supplement your
There are some premixes, like from Kafika. There's that KDC. It's called KDC. You supplement it, you mix in the broken. I'll show you the formula because I have it, which I use here when I'm mixing mine. But it's for the Kafika guys, and you see the results are very good, yes.
When you're advising somebody to stock these cows, at what age should they stock the cow?
It's very much better. Any farmer who's going to buy a cow, at least you get a heifer, in-calf heifer. Because it won't give you a lot of milk in the beginning, but you have it for a long period of time.
What is a heifer?
A heifer is that cow which hasn't given birth yet. It's a heifer. In-calf heifer, it's pregnant. It's going to give birth for the first time. So it's better to buy that one. It's like you. If you marry a woman of 50 years and a woman of 20 years, who will give you more children?
The one of 20.
You see, even the production of the younger one. Yes, for the first time mothers, you have less milk. For the second time, they increase the amount of milk. The third time, they will get the year climax. So it's better, because if you come here and you buy an old animal, you won't have it for a longer period of time. It is used to a certain environment. You are introducing it to a new environment, you see, all those challenges. But these AFAs, like even youths, can get adapted to a new environment very fast. Yes.
What type of dairy cows do you keep in particular here? Or how many dairy cow types or breeds are there on the market, plus the ones you keep here?
There are very many, but for me, I have Frisians, I have a brown Swiss there, and I have Asher down there. But there are even Jerseys. There are a lot. There are a lot of varieties.
So which one do you recommend?
People have different targets. Those who want to go to do butter with, there are those ones which have a high butter content, fat content, like the Jerseys, the Guernseys, the Ashers. But for us here, low-income earners, we target milk because we are not doing value addition yet. So we go for the Frisians, they are high milkers as compared to the Jerseys.
You talked about heifers, but you didn't specify heifers are within how old?
Heifers, like if you have properly managed your calves, from 11 to 14 months, they will be ready to be served under proper management. So they are around the 18, 19 months like that, yes, depending on the stage of the pregnancy. But from 14 months, when it's served, maximum 14, if under good management. From there onwards, you can serve it.
Okay. So a cow we for sure know, unless somebody doesn't know, takes 9 months, just like a human being.
Yes.
How many calves do you usually expect?
Like here we do synchronization. Now like we synchronized our cows, there were 13 of them, but only 6 conceived. So that's also a chance to me that if they conceived at once, they also be dried off at the same time. So make production here will be at 0. So if you have like 10, it's better like you serve this one. If like 5 become pregnant, after 2 months you serve the others, so that you have a constant production at your farm. Yes.
Production of milk.
Yes.
Maybe you didn't get my question, but each animal, is there a capability or a possible chance of you getting a cow giving birth to 2 or triplets? Or
they do exist, but at the farm for me I haven't yet.
You haven't experienced that.
And for me I would wish it to be 1.
Why 1 and not 2 or 3? Because 3 means you're multiplying at a fast rate.
It looks like that, but on the other side, like a family of many, if the mother you get, you know, when you are selling your milk, and you have to serve 2 at once, and some of them, when they are 2, 1 of them has a deformity in it. You may find when it is a calf, it can't produce. There are those deformities which come with it. 1 is not productive, even if you want or not. And
then they will be fighting for the same milk that you want to sell as well.
At the same time.
I now see the logic behind it.
So the success of a dairy farm, bro, even if we have talked about this one, lucky enough someone have got your 2 cows at home, your main focus should be about the calves you are going to get, because that's the future of your flock. So some people find that some farmers don't want to give their calves milk. We know we need the money, but again we have to think about the future of our farms, because these ones are going away, the other ones are coming. So if you produce your calf, make sure you have proper knowledge about calf management.
Okay.
Yes. Because you may find what we are doing at first, we could get fresh napier, like those napier from the swampy areas, we call them the refugee grasses. We could serve them to our calves. They became stunted. They were not growing, and we could wonder, are these exotic as they are not improving? So anybody out there, if you have a calf which has been produced after it has got the colostrum for the first 4 to 7 days, if you are going to introduce the grasses, let them be dry grasses. If you want a cow which will serve you in the future, because those dry grasses help the rumen in growing. And that's the engine of a cow, the performance of the rumen. So if
are we talking about the young ones or the
young ones? Yes.
Okay. How long do you take while milking? Plus, how many liters of milk were you getting at full production?
At full production. Here, before reducing on the number,
Yes,
or
before reducing on the number.
I was making 350 liters per day after serving the young ones.
350 liters. How many cattle were those?
I had 27, but in actual sense I was milking 21.
So literally, the 350 liters were coming from 21 heads of cows. Whoa, that's quite a number. And you're selling each liter at how much?
2K per liter.
Oh, wow. Now you can do the calculation. You know how much. Oh, 2K in terms of Ugandan shillings, the dollar rate is at 3,600. For those of you who are not in the country, you can do the calculation and definitely you'll know how much he was making in a single day. How long does a cow take before you stop milking it? Okay,
before you go in that, some cow can be milked for a longer period of time. Others don't have that long period of milking. So after 2 months, from 45 days to 60 days after calving down, the cow has produced under good nutrition, that cow will come back on heat very fast. Like the other brown Swiss down there, after 1.5 months, it came back on heat, we served it, we are waiting to see whether it conceived. So from the period of conceiving, we have to make that cow for almost 7 months before drying it off.
Oh. So cows can go on heat even after 1 month after giving birth?
Under good
management and nutrition. Oh, wow.
So from there we milk it and we give it the last 2 months before you dry it off. Drying off just the process of stopping milking that cow.
Okay.
And then you start steaming it up. Steaming it up is giving special supplements, preparing it for the next calving.
Yes. Okay.
If you don't prepare your cow, even if it is of high quality and you don't prepare it properly, you'll find that in the end you won't have enough milk.
Okay. So which one is better, artificial insemination or the normal breeding?
Like using a bull, artificial insemination is better.
Why?
Because you have at least a pure. The semen you are getting is from those pures from abroad. It's like you have got a pure bull from a very good farm abroad and we have introduced it to your farm. Because most of the sires we have here, all the bulls, are crosses.
Okay.
So, and besides that, you have access to different, if I have a single bull here, if it is a Frisian, that's a Frisian. That's the finished. But if you're using artificial insemination, you can inject this one with Asha, another one with Jersey, another one with Girilando, another one with like that. Yes.
Wow. So meaning here you don't have a bull?
I don't have a bull.
You only do artificial.
I want to improve. If you want to improve your herd, go for artificial insemination. It's quite disturbing, we know. That sometimes the conception rate, even the weights, even your nutrition, even the damages in your cows. At least try like 3 to 4 times maximum your cow will conceive. If it refuses, that's when you can think about a bull.
Okay. So how do you know that your cow is pregnant?
Like this cow, the cycle of this cow is after being served, it's between 18 to 21 days. If it hasn't conceived, it will come back on heat and show those signs of a cow on heat. But some even extend for a month. But after 2 to 2.5 months, vets come here and they do their checking. For them, they set their hands inside and they will tell this one conceived. Like that. That's how
able to tell.
Yes.
Okay. So now our cow has gotten pregnant. How do we ensure from day one, for example, for human beings, we take them for antenatal. What do you do for the cows?
For them, they have conceived. You keep on serving the same feeds that we are serving. You are still making it. But towards the 7 months, you must start reducing on the dairy meal you are giving your cow. Because if you don't do that, it will have a lot of milk. Sometimes they get some problems. So it's better that in the 7th month, when you know that I'm going to dry off my cow, start reducing. If you are giving 4 kgs of diet per day, start giving 3, 2, 1. Don't do it
at once.
Don't
remove it all at once.
You do that like that. After that, for the first 2 weeks, now you are steaming up your cow. Let the fellow farmer outside there get me well. You are going to dry off your cow. In the last month, the last 2 weeks, to make 7 months, from the day it was served, it became pregnant. Those last 2 weeks, reduce on the dairy meal. The first 2 weeks, take it totally off on the dairy meal. In that month, which is going to make the 8th month. The first 2 weeks, take it totally off on the diarrhea meal. Then the next month, double the diarrhea meal you are giving that cow.
As it's about to give birth.
You are now entering the 8th month. So from the 2 weeks, we have 2 months of steaming up. The first 2 weeks, we haven't given our cow any diarrhea meal, so that it totally stops. Then the next month, to make the 6 weeks, give it double what we are giving it. If we are giving it, forgive it 8. And maybe put there some premixes and some mineral salt, which you help it at least to carve down properly. Then the last 2 weeks, go back to the normal. Make sure you reduce the diarrhea meal like 1 kg. Why? Because that other, if we keep on giving diarrhea, you find that some farmers find that their cows' udder is extra large and very hard. But if you do that for the last 2 weeks and you reduce up to 1 kg like that one, at least the udder of your cow will be very soft and easy for those who will be milking it.
Okay. How do you ensure proper delivery? It gives birth very well.
It's about the nutrition. That's one. There must be mineral blocks. Like those Kafika guys, I'm not making market for them, but we have a saying that Omuto Germany. Yes. So they have got mineral blocks. They're very good blocks. Okay. Even your cows, after producing, they will not retain the placenta, because those retaining the placenta are signs that that cow doesn't have enough nutrients in the body. So their mineral blocks are very good. If your cow is leaking those mineral salts, you see that they have good delivery, even the placenta will follow so fast.
Okay.
But like for me, if I have a cow, for me, I keep on checking in the books. At least I'm sure that this cow within these 2 weeks is going to produce.
So in simple terms, record keeping in dairy cattle is very important.
Very, very important. So I keep on monitoring it. Because even a cow which is going to produce maybe at night or during the day, you see it's restless. You know those labor pains. All those farmers who are keen about their animal, they are sure of that. They know that. At least you can watch it. For me, all my cows produce when I'm here watching. That's when I call those people when it has fed, and I give it some time to produce by itself. If we see that it has a bit delay, that's when we help it. But some farmers, when they see the sign, they pull it outside. That's where the problems comes in. But that on the next insemination, the cows are not conceiving. Yes. Because they disorganize the system. It was
so
working
give it
normally.
chance.
Give it a chance
to give birth.
Yeah, to see. If you say after like 30 minutes it's fading, then help it. But don't just come and pull it, because I found when these people here who are working here had seen that, they had started doing that. But the last 4 which I've produced, we never helped them.
Okay. After it has given birth, how do you manage the calf?
Like, think about what you should think about first.
Do you separate it from the mother?
Well, that's what we do. You can give it a chance for the first day to make direct on the colostrum. After it has carved down, it's going to lick it properly and dry it. Give it a chance to suckle, because those first 8 hours are very crucial. Because you know the importance of colostrum, it's going to provide all the antibodies to the calf. So we give it a chance. From there we take it, or we can take it straight and we milk and we provide it from there. That's key.
So you take it away from the mother, you keep it somewhere?
Somewhere.
Oh, okay. And then you milk, and then you put the milk in the bottles?
Yes, and then we feed it.
Oh, okay. And what else? Do you supplement the calf? Do you inject it anything?
I don't inject anything. We give it time. We just provide, because nothing.
No boosters, no nothing, like vitamins, minerals.
All the nutrients are in the colostrum of the mother.
The milk.
Make sure that your calves get the colostrum. If they don't get, they'll be so weak. That's why we do the steaming up, so that we provide special supplements. These are factories. They convert them to make antibodies for the calves. Then we disinfect the umbilical cord.
Okay. Yes. Where is the market for your milk? How do you get market for your milk?
In the world, quality milk sells itself.
Okay.
People come here and then we take some. We don't even have enough, even if we have 700 liters, because most of the milk reach here Kampala when it is diluted. And for us, what we do, even if I get 10 liters, I don't put a single drop of water. So the quality of the milk I produce here, I say the way it is, so it is selling itself. People are coming. So
do you have milkers, or you milk with
we do
the
it
normal?
in the normal way.
Okay.
And milking.
So you milk in the morning?
And in the evening.
And in the evening.
Yes.
You talked about milking it thrice. How are you going to do that?
I'm going to do it. I'm going to introduce the other one, which has just produced, because these ones are almost going to be dried off, most of them. So the other one, because of what I learned, because we keep on learning always, I've sent for the supplements. I want to see how to do it. Because that cow is giving me 18 liters. I know, but I haven't been supplementing. I've been just giving chikanja, the spent grain only. So if I add on the dairy meal, I'm sure I'm going to be between 27 to 29 a day.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, before we continue, that Mr. Semaganda Joseph has a very vibrant YouTube channel under the names
BGM Animal Breeding Farm.
BJM Animal Farms, as you can see on the screen. So please go there and subscribe and watch some of his content as well. He's a very, very good man. You can reach out to him in regards to anything that you need or require, and he'll be definitely giving you. How important is water in dairy farm?
Without water, you're doing nothing, because almost 85% of milk is water.
Okay.
So whatever feeds we're providing there,
You provide with clean
these
water.
are just factory. They are going to convert those dairy meals, the spent grain, into milk. But that milk, we need water, because the 85% of it is water. So if we're providing only fresh, they will not consume water, and you have less milk, even if it's a cow of high genetics. And again, farmers, like for us low-income earners, we don't need very pure cows. Like these ones are crosses of around 75, 85, like that. So the genetics matters a lot. You don't think I'm going to provide the dairy meal, the spent grain to your local cow and you get milk. That's impossible.
Okay.
Think about that. We had a lot of problems in the beginning. This is another time which we faced when we were starting. We wanted to save. Cheap things are always expensive, guys, outside there. Know that.
Okay.
You will hear that those people in the cattle generation, they are talking about cows of 8, 10 million, 7, and people will say they are stealing gas, but they will go and they buy the color. You see, this cow is very small, but it produces 20 liters after giving birth. So the genetics is working. So it matters a lot. Even if you have the genetics and don't have the nutrition, again, those are other problems you will face. So to those farmers, even if they are on zero grazing, we do like spraying. But we don't do it on weekly basis, because we don't have ticks here. We don't think about it, but again, we do spray because of the environmental conditions.
How many workers did you have when you were producing 350?
I had 6 workers.
You had 60.
Six workers.
6 workers. Yes. So how do you distribute that? Every worker has how many animals to look after?
No, it's a general work.
No.
The general work. Just to say that, like, we had one who could just clean this club.
His job was to clean
the club and to put here the water.
Okay.
The 5 could go and get those fresh swamp
grasses, pastures.
They bring them, we chop them, they serve them in the troughs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What is your advice to farmers as we wind up in 1 minute?
My advice to farmers, this is a business. Try as much as you can to lower the cost of production. If you are going to buy each and everything, you won't get profits. Because the main target of any business is to get to make the profits. So if you are going to buy everything, all those premixes, but if you can, like here, we shall show them. We just have full kits like 40 by 50. We're going to put there some alfalfa. Those are protein sources. Because if we talk about protein something, people think they must only grow soya, they only buy broken. The cost of production will be so high. You may find that you are above me by just 1 liter, but the cost of production will be so high. That's why I'm recommending that low-income earner, think about the money stovers. Because even inside, like the dry matter in there is like 20%. So you can see.
Okay.
So my advice to you, try as much as you can at your farm, lower the cost of production. If you have a piece of land, try to go like sunflower. Because when I make a dairy meal, there must be sunflower. If you can grow it yourself, there is broken maize. If you can do it yourself, you do cutting on the cost of production. It's very necessary. Try as much as we can to cut on the cost of production.
Lastly, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years in dairy calf keeping?
First of all, I want to be among the best breeders in our country. Reason being, we have few honest people. who can tell that the new farmers, or even those who are into the business, that you know what, this is a high quality milk dairy cow, which will give you 35 and above. The challenge I met when we were spending money, we hustle to get the money, you buy a cow which can't give you what they told you. Those challenges, I know there are very many farmers outside there who are facing the same challenges. So my main target is, how can you improve what I have? That's why I use artificial insemination, because if you want to improve, at least that's much better. Okay. So I believe that 5 years, or my target, like 5 years from now, even 3 years, I won't wait for 5. Because at least we are using the semen from Litres, genetics. Yeah? I believe we shall be having good dairy cow, because all the cows I have here, there's only one, that one, and that one is for my dad, which the brown one, which only makes like 15 liters after calving down, but the rest are above 20 liters. So it's very easy to improve them in like 3 generations, and you have good. I want to produce dairy cows like those we see in Kenya from here, and we sell them to our fellow farmers at quite a cheaper price, which is achievable, because at least we have went through it. So my advice to farmers, they should be persistent, hardworking. They should never give up. It's a very good venture to invest in. It has challenges, but experience comes along the way. Just start small, have a bigger vision, you will be there.
And there we are. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. We come to the end of this particular session, but please don't forget, I have a lot of content in regards to cattle keeping from this same farmer. Please look it up. Until then, it's goodbye. Don't forget to follow him on his YouTube channel.